where you're calling from. And if you are new, put new in the comments in the chat. And if you're a returning member, put returning so that we can see who all is here. So this is Chai and Conversation. And I'm going to give you a brief history of Chai and Conversation right now. This is our Chai and Conversation circa 2010. So like I said, it began in 2010 as a podcast. So at the time, podcasts were just kind of coming out. There was a podcast called Coffee Break Spanish, which I listened to and I really loved it. It was this guy, Mark, teaching a student how to speak Spanish. And I thought, what a wonderful way to learn along with someone. And there was nothing like that at the time for learning Persian. And so I reached out to Mark. I kind of used that same system to start Chai and Conversation, where I taught a coworker's husband how to learn the Persian language. So the lessons that you guys will be listening to right now are with that coworker's husband, Matt. And so we did several years of lessons together and started this program. And in the very beginning, it was very low tech. We had the podcast, and then I would make PDF guides for each of the podcasts. And people would send me $1 over PayPal, and I would email them these supplemental learning materials at the time. And from the very first week that I put lessons up on the iTunes app, people were writing me asking for supplemental learning materials, asking for more lessons, and I realized that we were onto something. So in about 2014, Chadwick joined the team. And Chadwick, if you want to introduce yourself. A lot of times when you write us, you'll be hearing from Chadwick. He does all of the tech work, all of the organization of this program, and we really would not be where we are today. We'd still be emailing out PDF guides right now if Chadwick wasn't here. So if you want to introduce yourself quickly, Chadwick.
Hi, sure. I'm Chadwick. I was partner in this undertaking, and yeah, I kind of make all the website stuff and try to make the audio sound clear and answer emails and other things behind the scenes.
He does a lot more than that, but yes, so that is our team. And so about a year ago, we took on a really big undertaking and we redesigned our entire website. So we started this program before there was Teachable, before there was Coursera. So all of this is custom coded by Chadwick on like behind the scenes. So if you've gone through our website, you'll see we have a pretty sophisticated system there where we have, audio materials, we have PDF guides, we have videos, lots of learning materials for our Persian language program. And we have 3 different courses. We have the Speak Persian course, the Read Write Persian course, and Persian poetry. So we started off with Speak, but over time, about 2 years ago, we added Read Write, and eventually, about 3 years ago, we added poetry as its own program. So that's where we are today. And this is, you're all familiar with our new graphics, our logo, which was designed by Mina Jaffedi, a wonderful Iranian artist that we work with. And yes, Persian poetry, it actually just this year became its own course. We have several poets here, and we aim to have the largest resource available for learning Persian poetry. And this is really important to our program because if you know anything about Iranians, you know that poetry is, we learn poetry as pretty much the same time as we learn speaking, and everything is kind of explained in poetry in the Persian language. So we use poetry to teach the Persian language and teach the conversational Persian as well. So you'll see that in our bootcamp. So I want to talk a little bit about the challenges of learning the Persian language. So like I said, we started this program in 2010, and at the time there really weren't very many resources available to teach Persian, and it's 2023, and there still aren't that many resources to learn Persian, especially conversational Persian, the way Iranians actually speak. And I have a few different, these are the challenges that I've seen over the years of why there aren't a lot of resources to learn the Persian language. And I'm just going to go through this very quickly. The first is that I think that because Iran has been so isolated for so long, and because there are sanctions against Iran, and there's not a lot of business going back and forth between Iran and other countries, I think that a lot of language resources, the big players, have not really devoted resources to teaching the Persian language, because there's not really an economic incentive to teach the Persian language. So as I say, there are a few different reasons, a few major reasons that people learn Persian language. It's either because they're from an Iranian or Persian speaking household, and they just never learned how to speak growing up, or they're marrying or dating an Iranian and they'd like to understand their culture better, or they like the Iranian culture. And actually, let me know in the comments if any of these resonate with you, what the reason are for you to learn Persian. Oh, is there some issue happening? Let's see, slide deck is blocked by some floating windows. Ooh. Do y'all see this? Is this fixing it or no?
No.
No, you can't. It's like
No,
it's
the sidebars are not blocked, are black.
It's we can't see what's in the windows, but the shape of the windows is blocking out what's behind
Okay.
them.
Okay, gotcha. So right now you can see everything. Okay, so then so let me know in the comments why you're learning the Persian language. And this is one of the first questions that we ask, and you'll see all the answers in the Say Sanam section as well. So I say that the main reason that everyone's learning, the reason it boils down to, is love, either love of the culture, love of a person, love of heritage. So because of this, I think that a lot of big companies just don't devote resources to teaching this beautiful language. Another challenge in learning the Persian language is that there's a different script involved. So most of the resources kind of force you into learning this different script from the very beginning. So it's such a big hurdle that a lot of people give up from the very beginning. So that's why our resources include English phonetic script from the very beginning, so that you don't have that blockage and you could just get learning from the very first lesson. Now, we have added reading and writing lessons in the past few years, like I said, because I do think that there is something that unlocks in your brain when you do learn how to read Persian script, and it's really not that hard. I just don't want that to stop you from wanting to learn from the very beginning. And our system teaches you to read and write Persian very, very quickly. So, and it also opens up a lot of other resources to you. So I highly encourage this. But I think that that's one of the challenges, and we don't want that to be a block for you. Another big challenge is that spoken and written Persian are extremely different, and most resources focus on the written version of the language. If any of you have tried to learn with Rosetta Stone, let me know in the comments. When you try to speak to Iranians, it's funny because no one actually speaks that way. And an example I put in this next slide is, for example, the written version of a conjugation of a simple word like is very different in written and in spoken Persian. So in written Persian, you would say, for example, anha hastand, but no one actually says that in conversation. They just say hastan. That's it. So if you learn the written version, it just sounds funny when you're speaking. And this is just one example. Another challenge is just that Iran has a lot of negative stereotypes about it. It's a misunderstood culture. And because of this, we focus a lot in our resources on teaching about the culture of Iran as well, and in conjugation to the language, because you can't divorce language from culture. And that's very important. So that, I kind of went over a little bit about our method, but basically we teach only conversational Persian, especially in the beginning. We teach you in an immersive style so that you can hit the ground running. You can have a conversation after about 4 lessons. You can start understanding what people are saying, and it's conversation only. Later on, we teach what the written words are, and we teach grammar and all that, but we try to get you speaking as soon as possible. Like I said, we include the phonetic script so that the script doesn't get in the way of learning. Also, we focus on building confidence. So don't worry about being perfect. You can speak imperfectly as long as you're getting your message across. That is the most important thing in learning or in speaking a language. We also believe everything is easy if you do it a little bit at a time. So our lessons are between 10 to 15 minutes each. And we teach you a little bit at a time. And we try to get you using the words that you learned from the beginning immediately so that you build confidence with them. We pair language with culture. Like I said, that's a very important part of what we do. We do that by teaching poetry, by giving you tidbits about Iranian culture as you're learning the lessons, and a lot of different methods. In 2022, we started our community, and we, like I said, we have this thing called the Circle community. It's an app called Circle. It's not Facebook. It's not any of those other apps. It's its own China conversation community. And we got that going, and it's been thriving. It's been really exciting. So what we're focusing on this year is to get the word out about China conversation and continue building our community. And we need all of your help with that as well. If you love what we're doing, let your friends know. It's a lot more fun to learn this together. Over the years, we've had a lot of wonderful feedback. This is just some of the examples. I always mean to screenshot and save and keep all the testimonials and everything in one place, but there's so much to do that I don't always get around to it, but we constantly have amazing feedback, and that really keeps us going. So thank you everyone for all of your feedback. And now let's get to our boot camp. First of all, in the chat, let me know, is there anybody who is not yet signed up for the boot camp? Anybody? I think everyone here should be here because you are in the boot camp, but if not, let me know in the comments. We'll show you how to sign up for the bootcamp by the end of this webinar, but hopefully everybody is signed up. And this time is the first time that we have these professional graphics done by Iranian American artist Misha Zadeh, which we're super excited about. She took inspiration from old Persian rugs from the 15th century that featured this lion and sun motif. And this is an albalu, which is a summer fruit. And so she created this for us, and we're super excited about the graphics. You'll see it throughout the entire boot camp. Every week we'll have a new graphic from her to introduce the week assignments. And I studied architecture myself. I love design. I love to incorporate good design in everything we do, and hopefully that comes across for you guys. And we have posted our itinerary, and I want to talk very briefly. I have a video right now in week 1 assignments that explains the different tracks of lessons that we have, but very quickly, the beginner level is intended for people that are brand new to our program. So as you can see, we start with lesson 1 here. So brand new to the program, brand new to the Persian language. And we have 2 other levels, not so beginner and advanced. Not so beginner is for people who have gone through the bootcamp before, or they are familiar with the Persian language and are a little bit more advanced they're not complete beginners, so not so beginner. The advanced level is for heritage speakers or people that are further along in their studies. And the advanced students can also listen to our lessons. That's a great way to learn, but your best thing to do, the advanced speakers, is to go to our conversation practices and just practice speaking with other people. That's what you need. You need to build confidence. You need to just practice and get going in that way. And these lessons will guide you in those practices. We also have the reading and writing track. So again, if you've been through the bootcamp before and you don't want to start with lesson 1, I'm going to ask each week that you create your own itinerary with the reading and writing lessons. Say you did the last boot camp, you're on lesson 7 right now. So let us know what you're going to work on. Let us hold you accountable to furthering along your reading and writing practice. And then we have poetry, which Faid is going to talk to us about in a second. He is our partner in the poetry this time around, and we are learning this poem. which is called Tasnif Oshar or Divanisho. And I'm super excited about learning this poem all together. I've been slowly memorizing it as I've been editing these lessons. So I'll be there with you guys at memorizing this lesson. And so we have, let's get to our conversation live practices. So all of our lessons are pre-recorded and on the website, and you can do them on your own time. They're between 10 or 15 minutes each, the lessons. The reading and writing lessons are all videos. The speaking lessons are mainly audio, so you can listen to it anywhere that you are. And our poetry lessons now have both a video and an audio option. So when you click on that lesson page, you'll see a little button there that you can watch the video, or you can do the audio only version. But the conversation practice is optional, but it is really one of the places where the magic happens. If you've been to any of these live lessons before, they're a lot of fun. You connect with other people. You get to ask any questions that you have. We've put you into breakout rooms with 3 or 4 people at a time. You'll be with people a little bit more advanced than you, a little bit less advanced than you. You get to be a teacher, you get to be a student. It's a lot of fun. And the person that leads that is my aunt, Farnaz Nuri, and I want to introduce her and have her tell you a little bit about her experience and these beautiful live classes. So Farnaz, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Farnaz, and I'm Leila's aunt, as she just introduced me. And I do the live classes, and I'm telling you, this is just a fun place to be, basically. And I've had people come in and coming with different backgrounds. Now, after a few rounds of conversation, every time they go to the break rooms and come back, I see them smiling and happy and good, so vivid, and and I say, okay, how was it? They say, what's too short? We want to have more conversation. And it is just really interesting. And I'm telling you, they progress very much just by conversing with each other, and it is very easy. Don't worry about what level you are. And I noticed somebody asked, how do we know which level we are, and how should we just come to sign up for or RSVP for the live class? Basically, if you don't know, if you are very, very beginner, you don't know anything about conversation, that will be just a beginner. If you know a little bit, that will be not so beginner. You just know hello, how are you, for instance, something like that. That is my mind. What is your name? Then you are on a not so beginner level. And again, you can be on a day. We will have several classes, and you can sign up for all of them, basically. And don't stop yourself from signing up for a higher class. In other words, if you are thinking, oh well, I'm not a very good advanced speaker, or I'm not a not so beginner, and I'm not going to sign up for that. You need to just try it. At least come and see. Nobody, you don't, it's not hurting you. Nobody is judging you. Nobody is making it, commenting you or anything. It's just you are finding people, you're visiting people who are just like you, wanting to learn. And I mean, I've had people that after about 3 weeks, now they wrote me a letter when they traveled in Farsi. And I mean, they become so enthusiastically energetic about learning when they are working together. So please take advantage of these live classes. This is where you put whatever you learn on paper into practice and action. And this is actually why you are here, why you start. This is the practice of conversation that you say, I want to start practicing, I want to start speaking. You can try it. This is the safest place for you to try. And if there's any mistake, I mean, it is corrected. If it's not something you don't know, it is answered. And I think you do all of that for this reason. You do all of the reading and learning to be able to speak. So take advantage of these live classes. And I'm there for you to answer any question. It is open to everyone. There is no comparison, no judgment. Feel free to sign up for the class and try it. Excited to see you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I want to mention that Farnaz has been teaching for over 20 years. So she has a lot of experience teaching Persian, and she's very familiar with our teaching methods. And so those classes have been getting better and better. We've been taking your feedback, and a lot of magic happens in those classes is all I can say. So it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much. And so I just launched a poll asking if you want to say what level you think you are. But like she said, don't worry too much about it. Just try out. There's 10 classes a week. They are later in the week. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday are when the live conversation practices are, so that you have Monday through Wednesday to listen to the lessons, to start, studying and get prepared for that lesson. The more prepared you are, the better. But really, if you want to come in and just sit in on a class, that's fine too. And you just want to listen. You just say that in the beginning. I just want to listen to other people practice. That's fine. We encourage you to come, and don't be embarrassed. So another thing that we've really been figuring out as we've been doing this is there's a lot of shame and judgment that comes with the Persian language in particular. Maybe it just has to do with our culture. We're not very good about encouraging. We're very good at criticizing, not as good at encouraging. There's, now we joke around about American culture that people get trophies for participation from kindergarten. And, it's kind of funny, but it's also, that's how you get better, is you're encouraged, you're allowed to fail, you're allowed to make mistakes. And for some reason, with the Persian language and with Iranian culture, we have that mentality of, oh, you got an A-, why didn't you get an A+, instead of being encouraging. And so consider us your family, family for this next 6 weeks, and be okay with making mistakes with us. And we're going to encourage you, and we're going to just give you a lot of love and give you a lot of kudos for even attempting. So it's okay. I want to stress this, and we want to build your confidence. And one comment also that I've gotten that I want to point out is that a lot of the non-Iranians in the conversation practice have a really easy time just practicing what they know. And a lot of the people with Iranian backgrounds, either half Iranian or full Iranian, are a lot more reticent to speak. And that's why it is. It's cultural. So know that you're not alone. And these are the discoveries that we're making in these classes, unfortunately. So like I said, those classes on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And starting this boot camp, we have a new feature, which is check-in with Manali. And I want to introduce Manali right now. And if you can say who you are, and she's our community liaison. She answers a lot of the questions in the boot camp. She's there to monitor the community, make sure everything's going well. And she's also going to be doing these check-ins on Monday. So can you introduce yourself and tell us about the Monday classes?
Sure. Salam hamagi. Man Manali hastam. Hi everyone. My name is Manali, and I'm really excited to have these check-ins with you. I love hearing of stories and just seeing them and responding to them. And so the check-ins are a way for us to actually be together on a Zoom call and talk about your wins, your challenges, your proud moments, what's coming up for you, what kind of support do you need? Like Layla John said, it's giving you that confidence, that love that you need to help you go on for Tuesday and Wednesday until you get back with Farnaz John, where she can, help you more with what you need. And so we're going to have discussions. And then the next week we'll be like, how did your week go? What's going on? And this is an opportunity for everyone to come in, right? So a lot of times I've actually taken the boot camp before, and I love it. And I love being in those breakout rooms. And like Farnaz John said, it was too short. We always wanted more time together. So this will be for everyone to join. Doesn't matter if you're advanced, beginner, doesn't matter. You'll just be in a breakout room after we do some question and answers together. And then you'll get to talk with them and talk about their struggles and learn more about what they're doing, right? And then you come back out and we kind of hang out and talk a little bit more about anything that's come up for you and find a way for you to move past that. So I'm really excited.
Wonderful. Yeah, so we'll be doing those starting next week. So go ahead and RSVP for those. These are all these screens that I'm showing. I was going through a little bit of the Q&A. All these that I'm showing are in our community group. So at community.chaiandconversation.com. I'll put that in the comments. And so I'm loving all of this so much. Thank you, Nafmajan. I'm very excited. We're loving it too. Okay, so now I want to get to our poetry. So, like I said, you can choose what level you are for the speaking, the reading and writing. Also, it can be a choose your own adventure. Everything is negotiable here. Choose your own adventure is all we're about, except for the poetry. You will all learn the poetry, and that is not negotiable. It is the hardest thing to convince everybody to do the poetry. It is the hardest thing to convince people of. A lot of people, I know a lot of you right now are, oh, please move the boxes. Yes. Can we see the screen? Maybe if I take this out of full screen, it'll be better. Is this better? Okay, great. So who right now, leave me in the comments if you are a little bit, what do you call it? If you are skeptical of poetry, say me, if you are skeptical. So like I said, if you are a complete beginner and you've never spoken Persian before, it might sound a little bit intimidating to learn Rumi, but that is exactly what we're going to do. All of you are going to learn it. And at the end, we ask you to make a video for us of you at a beautiful location, reciting the poetry. And a lot of people post their poems, and at the end they say, I did not think I wanted to make a video. I did not think that I wanted to learn this, but this has been one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. I'm not exaggerating. So I want to introduce Faid Shafinuri, who has been my longtime collaborator on this poetry series that we have on the website. Faid Jan, salam.
Salam Leila Jan, salam. Durud bar hamegi.
Yes, and he is in his Corpus Christi. I think both Manali and Faid are by the ocean right now, so that's wonderful to hear. So Faid and I did a lot of the poetry projects in the beginning, and this is a new one that we've done. So we haven't had a brand new poem like this in a little while. So Faid, can you explain this poem and where it comes from, what this image is that we're seeing on the screen right now?
Yes, well, I first I wanted to say hello to everyone and welcome everyone to the program. I think this is lovely that this torch of poetry is being taken further with Leila Jan. And as you can see on the screen, this is a brochure of my show from last summer, this time in June 25th, I believe, so not so many days ago. And the name of the show was called Mashouq, as you can see up in the left-hand corner of the brochure, Mashouq. We have a yin-yang motif in our design done by Kurosha Bekpur, one of my longtime collaborators in graphics. And you see at the bottom right-hand side, beloved, which would be a loose translation of the term mashouq, which is someone who you would associate as your lover, or someone who could be a divine love as well. And I have a little bit of a statement here that I wrote, actually, because as we all know, June is Pride Month. And one of the themes we had was to associate the timeless words of Rumi with this essence of love being love. And here, as you can see written, I wrote in the spirit of Rumi, throughout history, there have been many beacons who light the way for others to follow. Rumi is one of them. He writes of a limitless, eternal love that is all-encompassing and void of judgment. His yearning for the beloved mirrors our most basic yearnings for love, for the awe and majesty of nature, and for the deepest, most intimate relationships we have cultivated throughout our lives. Centuries of classical Persian poetry have explored this boundless love. And this concert, which was last year, was dedicated to the ancient wisdom that still survives and reverberates today. Let's celebrate a history of inclusion, documented through poetry, and live in the spirit of now, embracing the essence of unabashed love.
Lovely. And so, yeah, when we were talking about this poem, this first poem that we did, we really talked about this radical love. And so going back to our idea of learning Persian for love, this poem is all about love. It's a theme that runs through our work a lot. And so this poem is part of a series that Fayed and I are doing called the Radif Retreat series. And you will hear about that all on the lesson as well. But let's talk about this poem in particular and why we chose this as the first poem to do.
So this poem that I translated here is one of Rumi's most famous poems that is actually celebrated throughout Persian-speaking cultures throughout the world. In fact, in the country of Tajikistan, this is one of the most beloved poems by Rumi, which many Tajiki singers have sung traditionally in the style of Tajiki classical Tajiki music. And I decided to give it a go with translation, and I had named it Tasnif Oshaq. Tasnif is a term, as you can see, I don't know if the footnote here is very easily understood or read because it's small print, but tasnif is a form of classical Persian music that mirrors the structure of a ballad.
Oops.
It is.
Sorry. I was trying to, go ahead.
There we go. It is a metered composition that's relatively bound to the rhythmic integrity of the chosen classical Persian poem. So one of the techniques that I have in my school of classical Persian music called Radif Retreat, Institute of Classical Persian Music, we have many non-Iranians coming to learn the art of classical Persian music. And one of the keys to it, as I've said to Layla from the beginning of working with her on the poetry series, is that the musicality of Persian classical poetry is very much interlinked to the music. So oftentimes what we hear as classical Persian music is mirrored within the rhythm and the rhythmic integrity that exists. So in this poem right here, Tasnifa Oshaq, Oshaq is the plural form for the lovers, right? And this was the name that I attributed to it, and I believe, Layla, the name that we have given it is to be crazy, right? Divanisho. And I suppose we can start walking through this. However, Layla, you think you want to start engaging the audience with the poem.
Well, actually, the lesson 1 is where we really get into the poem. So I don't want to give too many spoilers away. Go ahead and listen to the introduction lesson that we have posted already soon. But I do want to talk about the kind of divanisho and the translation because as I was, so what we do with these poetry series is we have an introduction where Fayed and I introduce the poem. We talk about the overall feeling of it. We go through it line by line and explain the poem in general. And then I have about 3 lessons afterwards that I do where I go over each of the words in the poem individually, word by word, phrase by phrase. And I teach you how to use these words in present day conversation. So when you listen to the introduction, you get a lot of meaning from the poem. You'll hear Fayed explain the musicality of it, the rhythm of it. We kind of talk about the 6/8 rhythm versus the 4/4 rhythm, for example. And it's a lot, you get a lot from the poem, but, it is impossible to translate anything. And Fayed, you can talk about your translation in a minute. It's impossible to translate anything. You really need to understand it in the original language. And even this divanisho is a great example of how you could translate that in so many different ways. Fayed here says, what was that? Fayed here says, be crazy, but it's more a state of becoming crazy. As I was trying to translate it, there's so many different ways of saying it. And as you can see, I have the poster for our boot camp up here. And for that poster, I said, fall into madness, because it is the way that it's saying this. And as we read the poem, it's kind of saying, be overcome by this feeling, let it take you, let madness take you. So you could say be crazy, you could say become crazy, you could say fall into madness, you could say let the madness take you. There's just so many ways that we can't translate it directly. So Dai, do you want to talk a little bit about your translation here?
I think in order to talk about this translation, I want to touch upon, just as Layla said, it's very difficult to be able to translate the essence of some of these poems, because in order to really fall into the madness of the words of Rumi, as Layla has beautifully said, you must acquaint yourself with the actual flow of the language, and the flow can only be learned through recitation, through repetition, and allowing the play of words upon the tongue to speak through you. So in a way, part of what makes Farsi so enigmatically beautiful and lovely is it's how it actually feels as you're speaking, how it comes off of the tongue, how it rolls off of the tongue. And that's where the poetry actually and the music lies. So when I did a translation, as we all know, there's Coleman Barks, there's Daniel Ladinsky, I believe there's many poets out there in the American mainstream, Barnes and Noble's books that you find that they attribute their books to translations of Rumi, but some of their stories really involve just having a Persian friend reciting to them in the corner of the room with a glass of wine, and then they, off of that, transpire their own translations. But here, I really wanted to sit with it, and if I'm lucky and if I'm blessed enough, sometimes my translation becomes rhythmic. So here, it actually had a rhythmic quality to it. Sometimes when we do translations, they come out in forms of prose. And I think later, Layla John, if we can show them another example in this book where how two translations can really be different, but still embodying the same essence of the meaning behind it. So in this one, you'll see that the translation has a rhythmic quality. And and I think maybe we should go ahead and recite it right now.
Sure, go ahead.
Dear lovers, it's time to let go of your games. Be crazy. Be crazy, I say. Enter your heart's inferno. Be the moth to the flame. Abandon this loveless society. Vacate your homes of shame. Join all of the other lovers. Live with the insane. Go and wash your heart. Wash your heart of any grudgeful pain. Do not just drink the wine of the lovers, be also the chalice that contains. Do not just mingle with the spirit, allow the beloved to flow through your veins. And notice that the term beloved here is capitalized. So one of the points in translating, whenever we use terms like beloved, the capitalization of these words implies a dual meaning behind what beloved could actually imply. Beloved could be your significant other, or it can be the significant other that's above all of us and towering above us. Allow the beloved to flow through your veins. For if you approach these drunkards down at the taverns, go and be drunk. Be drunk, I say. I apologize. I don't know how these phone calls keep coming. I never get calls this time of the day, but all of a sudden, everyone's being crazy.
And Thai, can you please read the Persian quickly as well? And just listen to the Persian, even if you can't understand it, just listen to the flow of it.
حیلت رها کن عاشقا دیوانه شو دیوانه شو واندر دل آتش درآ پروانه شو پروانه شو هم خویش را بیگانه کن هم خانه را ویرانه کن وانگه بیا با عاشقان همخانه شو همخانه شو رو سینه را چون سینه ها 7 آب شو از کینه ها وانگه شراب عشق را پیمانه شو پیمانه شو باید که جمله جان شوی تا لایق جانان شوی گر سوی مستان می روی مستانه شو مستانه شو.
Wonderful. And we'll leave it at that. So you can see there's, you know, there's a totally different feeling that comes from the Persian version. As much as you try to translate something, you just can't get that beautiful musicality. But this is just one part of the boot camp. So this week, you listen to the introduction with me and Farid, and then subsequent weeks we'll go over word by word, phrase by phrase. So Farid, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and we'll also be having in 2 or 3 weeks, we will have a check-in with Farid and I, with all of you, about what you've been discovering, because I think as you listen to the subsequent lessons, you'll really start to understand these words and they really become a part of you, and you'll be able to use the words in conversation. Like I said, it really launches your conversational Persian practice. So I really urge you, even if you think that it doesn't sound interesting to learn poetry from the very beginning, it will take your speaking to a whole different level once you understand these poems. So I also want to show, let me see if I can go back into, how's this all looking? Does it look okay? Can we see my screen? I want to show the video from last time. We compiled all of the videos that we received. We got you know, a lot of submissions last time of the poem. People have memorized it, the students had memorized it at the end, and we asked our wonderful video editor Nelly to compile them all into one video. So no one has seen this before. This is a debut of our Khoshbash video. Let me see how to do this. Let me stop sharing my screen and then let me share sound. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to play this and let me know if you all can hear it. Give me a thumbs up, panelists, if you can see it and hear it. Yeah, okay. I'm going to put it on full screen and play.
خیام اگر ز باد مستی خوش باش
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 لیلا اگر ز باد مستی خوش باش
با ما رخی اگر نشستی خوش باش
با ما رخی اگر نشستی خوش باش
با ما رخی اگر نشستی خوش باش
با ما روحی اگر نشستی خوش باش
خوش باش
با ما روکی اگر نشستی خوش باش
چون عاقبت کار جهان نیستی هست
انگار که نیستی چو هستی
خوش باش
چون عاقبت کار جهان نیستی است انگار که نیستی چو هستی خوش باش
چون عاقبت کار جهان نیستی است انگار که نیستی
چو هستی خوش باش
چون عاقبت کار جهان نیستی هست انگار که نیستی چو هستی خوش باش
چون عاقبت کار جهان نیستی هست انگار که نیستی چو هستی خوش باش
انگار که نیستی چو هستی خوش باش خوش
All right. And that was our Khoshbash video. And so just to wrap up, we only have a couple of minutes left. And I just want to show, let's see.
Leila, I just wanted to mention some people from different parts of asked for a poll for time of the live classes. since this is probably not fitting their time. And please do. This is what we've been asking so many times. Yes, please send your Central Standard Time. Convert it to Central Standard Time. What time is best for you wherever you are?
Yes.
And please give us a poll of your best time so we can fit that in the schedule. Definitely, we will make it available. Thank you.
Yeah, we're very open to adding classes, and this is what has worked so far for us. But if there's different time zones that we need for this time, we're very open to doing that.
Thank you.
And so I just want to show at the end of the boot camp, when you've completed all the assignments, you do receive this certificate, each with your particular name on it, and you will allow you to check off which parts of the which tracks you have completed, either speak, read, write, or poetry, or hopefully all three. So that's an exciting part of the boot camp. And that is all I have for now. So basically, if anyone has not completed their sign up, you do need to be a member of Chai Conversation to get access to all of these resources. Like we said, we have this beautiful website set up, and all of our learning resources are on there. And the coupon that we have available for new members is expiring tonight, so that should be in your emails and you should be able to do it. But we hope that you use this as a launching pad to begin your Persian learning study, and that you stay with us, keep going to these live classes so that we can have this community together. And I hope that we're together for months and years, learning more poetry, learning how to read and write, learning how to converse, and building our confidence in the learning language. I'm very excited that you're all with us. Like I said, this is the biggest boot camp that we have. Every time I tell Chadwick, I'm like, seems like this is going to be the biggest one yet. And it's just, it's kept going that way. So we're super excited. If anyone has any questions, let us know. So Rita says, where can we find the Khoshbash poem? So that is on our website. When you log on to chaiandconversation.com, click on the poetry tab, and you'll see all of the poems there, all of our past poems. And the new poem, Divan Shah, is being released each week as we go on with the boot camp. So the first lesson was released today. The next one will be there next week, and on and on. So are there any other, how many people are we? About 5,600 people signed up for the boot camp. And so we'll see how many, I mean, I don't know how many say salams there's a lot. And please help us out. Go in there and read the comments and see which ones resonate with you, and write back to people. We are reading every single one. It's just hard to respond to every single one. So let's be a community and go in there and say hello to people and start making friends. There's also actually for people that can't meet up with any of the live classes, in the Chai chat area, there is a virtual tea room that I've added that you will be able to organize conversations with. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that this week. I haven't introduced it yet. I don't want to introduce too many things to you at once, but that is also an option that you can organize yourselves into having a conversation. So if there's not other I do not know how to register, check if I'm registered or not. If you have any questions, send it to info@chaiandconversation.com. Oops, that was just bad. I'm going to info@chaiandconversation.com, and we'll be monitoring those to see if you have any questions about your registration, about if you're fully in. Again, that community group, if you haven't signed in yet, is at community.chaiandconversation.com, and you use your Chai and Conversation login to log in there. And if you have access to the community, are you registered? Yes, you should be able to do that. If there are any other questions, let us know. Are there any questions, panelists, that you've seen that I've missed that we need to answer? I saw that there was some in the Q&A, a lot of questions about whether you're beginner or not, but again,
a few just didn't know if they have completely registered or not. Some said that they did not, they didn't have any credit card or anything, so they're not sure if it went through or
Yes.
not. So
So
they
if
just want to
that's-
click on their registration. Yeah.
If that's the case, info@tryandconversation.com. Where do we sign up for conversations? I'm going to show you the community group. I've started making these little videos that you can watch. They're kind of long, but they might be helpful. So here's the community group. So this is actually here in the left side, you can see Try and Conversation. This is that say sign on section that I was saying. So you can see even 9 minutes ago, we had people coming in. Everyone who is new to the group starts to answer here. The live schedule is here. You can go in and you can RSVP for classes here. Then the conversations use this live conversations library as the guide for the conversation. The question and discussion is here. So one thing is, I think on Wednesday, is it, Chadwick, is going to go through and put a tag on everybody who's part of the boot camp. So then you can tell who is in your boot camp cohort, because this is for general Trying Conversations. So some people have been in boot camps in the past and are still a part of our community. Some people are just part of the boot camp. So you'll be able to see who is in your cohort there. The Try Chat is for if you just quickly have things to say. And like I said, that virtual Try is here, and I'll be talking more about how to use that soon. The announcements is where I will be posting information that everybody needs to know. The itinerary shows you all the classes. It has links to all the classes that we have. So this is where you go if you need to see. So here's lesson 1, for example, and you can listen to it there. And then week 1 is particular to the week. And I made a video about that as well. And a lot of the information that's been in this live is also in this video. This live will also be put on to the community group as soon as we're done. We'll put this in YouTube and you'll be able to watch it afterwards. Somebody asked, why do we make this free? So first of all, our lessons are available for free anytime. So on iTunes and on YouTube, you can watch the lessons. We never want finances to be a reason that people aren't learning the Persian language. So that is all there. And I know that getting started with anything is really the hardest part. And so I want to have as little barrier as possible for people to get started with learning the Persian language. And so this boot camp started off as being a way to introduce people to our learning resources, to show everything that we have behind the scenes, because it is a lot of work. We've been pouring a lot of work and love into this program for so long, and we really want to get it out there as much as possible. But people that start the boot camp, it's just a starting point. And we, again, hope that you stay with us for months, for years. And the majority of people that join the boot camp do choose to stay with us. And that's how we want to build a community, is we want people to really see the work that we have out there before joining. And so this is our way of introducing you to our learning materials. So at the end, we hope that you remain with us. But again, we have so many resources out there. If it's not in the cards for you to stay with us, you are always welcome to watch our YouTube videos, listen to our lessons, again, for free on iTunes or anywhere, and watch our Instagram videos. But we have seen that the majority of people who join us for the boot camp just see how effective our resources are, and how much their Persian improves, and want to be a part of the live conversations and stay with us. So that is why. So hope that answers the question. If there's any other questions, let us know. And if not, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, panelists, for joining me today. And I'm super excited about this group. I feel like we're going to have amazing videos. We're going to have amazing, thank you, Faijan. We're going to have some amazing conversations, and can't wait to meet you all and talk to you all, and for you to all meet each other as well. So we're right on the 1 o'clock mark. So good. We kept it all within an hour, and thank you everyone for joining again. If there's any other questions, let me look. Is there an app, or is all the material accessed through the website? Chadwick, do you want to answer this one? Is there an app?
There is no app, but the website works very well on your phone, which we've done a lot of work to make sure of.
Absolutely. So
And
we
any
want to-
question that you have, send it to info@triandconversation.com for anything that you are asking that was not answered over here.
Absolutely. And an app is just, I've realized is just kind of a word, and it's kind of a way to gatekeep our information. We do have a mobile app, basically. It's just a difference of wording. So it works very well on the phone. So no need to have iTunes gatekeep.
It works well on your tablet as well.
Exactly. And one other thing that I want to point out, I guess I'm still sharing my screen. Can you see this here? I'm actually not logged in here. Let me log in. Let me just show you the poetry. This is the first time that we have a video of the poetry. So I encourage you to watch the video version wherever you are. And then later, if you want to re-listen to it, listen to it. But the video version is awesome. You can see that beautiful book that Farid has created for his performance on there, and you can watch us discuss the poem. So that's a good way to work. Any other questions? Great work, Chadwick. I agree. And lots of compliments on the website. Yes.
Thank you.
That is 100% all Chadwick. Thank you for all that work. Again, without him, we would just be emailing you, PDF guides. Let's see. And that's a good suggestion, if Chadwick sees it. Okay, well, wonderful. Well, thank you again, everyone. If there's not any last, okay, would it be a bad idea to join rooms that are below your level? If you're advanced, could you join a beginner's chat room? Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. One of the best ways to learn is to teach. And so if you are an advanced speaker and you want to join the beginners rooms and speak to others, that's a great idea. Oh, one other thing that I want to say is last time I tried to cut the beginner classes, actually, because I don't want you to feel intimidated that you have to start speaking, because we try to go at a very easy pace. Like I said, we try to teach you a little bit at a time. And I don't want you to be intimidated. There's not that much to talk about in the beginning. All you know how to do is say, how are you? I'm well. You can't really have a big conversation like that. So we ask for videos each week of you demonstrating what you've learned. And I thought that that would be enough, but there was kind of a big backlash against that. And people really did want to get together and still practice. And again, it's about the community building. So then again, the live sessions, especially at the beginner level, are not required. It's just a good way to get together to talk about what you've been learning, to meet other people in the community and practice those few words that you know from the beginning. And everybody just loves the live classes, so we've kept it going. Going to classes to just listen, absolutely. Yes, Manalijan, thank you for pointing that out. She's mentioned that a few times before. If you just want to listen, that's totally fine as well. Just to see what other people are doing and to see those words in conversation. So that is all. Now we're 5 minutes. Oh, is this session recorded? Yes, the session is recorded. I'm going to make a YouTube video of it, and we're going to put it up on the community group and email about it as well. So again, if there is not any other questions, again, you can always email us again at info@chiconversation.com. We'll be going through those a lot the next few days to make sure everyone is set and everything. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Khudahafiz be hamegi. I look forward to doing this. Khudahafiz.
Khudahafiz.
Khudahafiz.